The clink of silver forks against bone china echoed through the dining room of my family's sprawling estate in Denver, a sound as sharp as the chill creeping down my spine. I pushed mashed potatoes around my plate, trying to drown out my brother Ethan's latest sermon about his genius at Hayes Manufacturing. It was our traditional Thanksgiving dinner, a shrine to the family legacy, and he was the high priest. "The new plant in Tulsa's ahead of schedule," he said, swirling his bourbon, amber catching the chandelier's glow. "Projections say we'll boost output by 25% next year." I glanced at my parents. Dad, the grizzled CEO of Hayes Manufacturing, nodded with that steely pride, while Mom dabbed her lips and squeezed Ethan's hand. Another toast to their golden boy. "What about you, Clara?" Mom turned to me, her smile dimming like a cloud over the Rockies. "Still tinkering with that, what's it called?" "Vertex Systems," I supplied, straightening in my chair, the velvet cushion stiff against my back. "And yeah, we're her little app thing," Ethan cut in, laughing over his glass. "What is it now, 3 years in that broom closet downtown?" I bit my tongue, letting the jab slide. That broom closet was a decoy, a shabby front for Vertex Systems, the fastest-growing AI logistics outfit in the country. What they didn't know could fill a warehouse. "Someone's got to try something different," I said, careful, tracing the rim of my water glass. "Not everyone's cut out for the family grind." Dad set his fork down, the clatter loud against the polished oak table. His face hardened, lines deep from decades of barking orders. "The family grind that paid for your MIT degree? That bankrolled your master's at Wharton? The same business you walked away from?" His voice was a low growl, the kind that used to make me flinch. "Not anymore." "I didn't walk away," I said, meeting his stare. "I built something of my own." Ethan snorted, loud and sharp. "Built? Clara, come on! You're playing tech geek while we run a real company. Hayes Manufacturing, top-tier auto parts supplier. We're about to lock in a deal with Ford. What's your app done?" If they only knew. While they obsessed over bolts and assembly lines, I'd crafted an AI-driven logistics platform that was rewriting the transport game. Major players, some of Hayes' own rivals, were already hooked, their fleets humming on my code. "I'm doing okay," I said simply, sipping my water, the ice clinking like a secret. "Okay isn't the Hayes way," Mom chimed in, her tone soft but edged with pity. "Look at Ethan, youngest VP in company history, profiled in Industry Week. We just want you to aim higher, sweetheart." I thought about the email I'd gotten that morning, a $2.5 billion offer to buy Vertex. I'd turned it down flat. My sights were set way beyond their horizon. "Speaking of high," Ethan grinned, leaning back, "the Tulsa plant needs capital. Dad, you thinking of hitting up Goldman Sachs? Their logistics arm's been sniffing around lately." I hid a smirk behind my glass. I knew why Goldman was circling. They'd been chasing a sit-down with Vertex's elusive CEO for weeks. "They've got a solid rep," Dad mused, swirling his drink. "Hayes Manufacturing's name still carries weight." What they didn't see was their weight sinking, fast. I'd peeked at their books, not as their dismissed daughter, but as the shadow owner of 40% of their stock. They were in for a hell of a surprise. That Thanksgiving dinner didn't just leave a bad taste. It lit a fuse I'd been nursing for years. I drove away from the East State, the Rockies looming black against the star-strewn sky, my hands tight on the wheel. Ethan's smug laugh, Dad's growl, Mom's pity. They didn't know Vertex Systems was a titan, not some app thing. My family saw me as the dropout kid playing startup, but I'd turned their scorn into fuel. By dawn, I was back in my real digs, a sleek penthouse overlooking Denver's glitter, not the dump they pictured, and plotting the next frame. They had no clue Vertex was a logistics beast, its AI chewing through transport snarls for half the Fortune 500. We ran it quiet. Shell companies, fake fronts, my name buried deep. Hayes Manufacturing? They were 40% mine already, snatched up through proxies while Dad bragged about Ford deals. I'd seen their ledgers, crumbling margins, rusting plants, and I wasn't just watching. That $2.5 billion buyout offer from a Silicon Valley giant? I'd laughed it off in an email, my CFO Lauren blinking at me across the glass desk. Clara, that's insane money, she'd said. I'd shrugged. Not enough. We're not selling, we're taking. Back at the estate, they kept the jabs coming. Sunday brunch rolled around. Another Hayes ritual. And I showed up. Gray hoodie my armor, hair pulled back tight. The dining room hummed with their usual flex. Ethan in a crisp blazer, spinning tales of Tulsa's game changer. Dad nodding over coffee. Mom fussing with scones. Clara, she said, passing me a plate. Still at that Vertex thing? Her tone dripped concern, like I was a stray they'd feed. Yep, I said, short buttering bread. Ethan grinned, teeth flashing. What's it now, 3 employees and a laptop? Bet you're still chasing angel investors. I swallowed a retort. Vertex had 300 staff across 5 states, a valuation nudging $3.8 billion, and I'd just greenlit a deal with Asian shipping firms. Something like that, I said, cool, sipping orange juice. Dad leaned in, eyes narrowing. You could have been VP by now. Real responsibility. Instead, you're out there tinkering. Hayes Manufacturing's a legacy, your legacy, and you ditched it. His voice had that old bite, the one that used to shrink me. I didn't ditch anything, I shot back. I'm building my own. Ethan laughed, loud. Building? Clara, let's be real. You're dabbling while we steer a Titan. What's your little gig even do? If they only knew. My platform was gutting their competitors, streamlining fleets, slashing costs, while Hayes clung to dusty assembly lines. I'd turn down that $2.5 billion because my plan was bigger. Control. It's doing fine, I said flat, watching their smirks. Fine's not our standard, Mom sighed, patting my hand. Ethan's killing it, profiled in Automotive Digest. We just want you to shine, honey. Shine? I'd outshone them tenfold, but they couldn't see past their own spotlight. Speaking of shine, Ethan said, leaning back. Tulsa needs funding. Dad, you hit up Wells Fargo yet? Their freight division's hot right now. I hid a grin behind my glass. I knew why Wells Fargo was buzzing. They'd been begging Vertex for a partnership. We're looking at options, Dad rumbled. Hayes' name still opens doors. Not for long. I'd tracked their cash flow, not as their pitied kid, but as the shadow eating their stock. What about venture capital? I tossed out, casual. Heard Apex Partners is eyeing industrial plays. Ethan rolled his eyes. Please, Clara, don't play advisor. Apex wouldn't touch us. They're way above our weight. I nodded, silent, not mentioning I'd golfed with Apex's CEO last month. Being underestimated was my edge. Well, Mom stood, brushing crumbs. Let's clear up. Clara, help me in the kitchen? She stacked plates while I scraped leftovers, a chore Ethan dodged as VP. Sweetie, she said, low. I know you're proving a point with this app thing, but come home. Hayes has a spot for you. I met her eyes, steady. I'm good, Mom. Better than you think. She frowned, but my phone buzzed. Lauren. Asia deal's live. Start buying tomorrow. I pocketed it, smirking. The frame was set. They'd see soon enough. That brunch wasn't just a meal. It was a snapshot of how blind they were, and I was done posing in their frame. I peeled out of the estate, Denver's skyline sharpening ahead, my mind already on the next move. Vertex Systems wasn't some little app gig, it was a juggernaut, and I'd spent years cloaking it in shadows. By Monday, I was back in my penthouse war room, glass walls, city lights pulsing below, watching my team flip the board. Hayes Manufacturing was 40% mine, snagged through shell companies while Ethan preened over Tulsa. Now, I'd push it past 51%. Their legacy was about to get a new lens. The week after Thanksgiving was a blur of stealth and steel. Lauren, my CFO, a wiry 35-year-old with a buzz cut and sharper eyes, ran the numbers from our real office, a gleaming floor atop a downtown tower, not the broom closet they mocked. "Asia's locked," she said, tossing me a tablet Monday morning. "Shipping firms are in $200 million up front." I scrolled the deal, smirking. "Good. Use it. Buy more Hayes stock tomorrow." She nodded, tapping away. We'd been hoarding shares through proxies, Vertex subsidiaries with names like Peak Holdings, and by Friday, we'd hit 51%. I could taste their shock already. They gave me the opening at a strained family lunch that Wednesday, snow dusting the estate's pines. Dad called it some crisis brewing at Hayes, and I showed up, hoodie swapped for a blazer, playing dumb. The dining room was tighter this time. No bourbon glow, just coffee and frowns. Ethan paced, blazer off, sleeves rolled. "Ford's waffling," he snapped. "Says our delivery's lagging. Competitors are eating us alive." Dad rubbed his temples, gray hair thinning. "We'll figure it out. Hayes has weathered worse." Mom hovered, wringing a napkin. "Clara, you're quiet. What's on your mind?" I sipped my coffee, casual. "Ever think about tech upgrades? Logistics AI could fix that lag." Ethan laughed, bitter. "Here we go. Clara's app fantasy. What's it do, teleport parts?" I shrugged, cool. "Streamlines shipping. Cuts cost 50%. Some firms swear by it." Dad snorted. "More tech talk. We need real fixes. Banks, not gizmos." I leaned back, letting it slide. They didn't know those firms were my clients, or that Vertex's platform was gutting their rivals while Hayes bled. "What about private equity?" I tossed out, innocent. "Vanguard's hot for industrial bets." Ethan scoffed. "Vanguard? Clara, they'd laugh us out. Stick to your toys." I hid a grin. I'd pitched Vanguard's VP over drinks last week. They were drooling for Vertex's data. "Just a thought," I said, watching their smug faces. Mom sighed, soft. "We're proud of Ethan's hustle, Clara. Maybe Hayes could use you. Real work." I met her eyes, steady. "I'm busy, Mom. Busier than you know." My phone buzzed under the table. "Lauren, 48% locked. Tomorrow seals it." I pocketed it, heart thumping. The frame was tightening. They'd see the picture soon. Friday hit like a shutter snap. Lauren strode in at dawn, tablet glowing. 51.2%. We're over the line. Hayes is ours." I studied the ticker on my wall. Hayes stock dipping, ripe for the kill. "They're funding?" I asked, knowing the dirt. "Shot," she grinned. "Wells Fargo ghosted. Emergency board meetings tomorrow." I nodded, slow. "Perfect. Prep the docs. I'm crashing it." That night, I stood at my penthouse windows, Denver's lights a chessboard below. They'd called that lunch to scramble, too proud to beg, too dumb to see me moving the pieces. Ethan's game changer was a bust. Hayes was hemorrhaging, and I'd caught it all, not as their kid sister, but as the shadow eating their empire. My phone lit up. Dad. "Dinner tonight. Urgent." I smirked, typing Lauren. "They're panicking. Ready the reveal." Being underestimated had its perks. They'd handed me the board on a platter. Tomorrow, I'd step out of the dark room and into their spotlight. The real CEO of Vertex Systems was about to flip their whole damn picture. The boardroom showdown hit on a frigid Saturday morning. snow swirling outside Hayes Manufacturing's Denver HQ. I walked in sharp, tailored black suit, heels clicking on marble, my breath steady despite the buzz in my veins. Lauren trailed me, her buzz cut stark under the lobby lights, arms full of files. Dad sat at the head of the long oak table, Ethan to his right, both in rumpled suits, faces tight. Mom hovered by a window, clutching coffee like a lifeline. 10 board members fidgeted, ties loose, eyes darting. They thought this was their emergency fix. Ford's bailout, funding scraps. They didn't know I'd rigged the shot. Dad kicked off, voice gravelly. "We're here to stabilize. Ford's threatening to pull out." Ethan leaned in, sleeves still rolled. "We need cash fast. Wells Fargo's out." I slid into a chair across from Dad, cool as ice, setting my tablet down. "Actually," I cut in, "as majority shareholder, I'll run this." Lauren dropped folders, thudding proof, and the room went still. Dad's jaw clenched. "What the hell's this?" I tapped my screen, calm. Vertex Systems owns 51.2% of Hayes Manufacturing. I'm calling the plays now. Ethan barked a laugh, shrill. "Your app scam? Bullshit!" I slid the stock breakdown across. Vertex's web of shells, all tracing back to me. "Check it. Bought through proxies while you chased Tulsa." Mom gasped, coffee sloshing. "Clara, what?" I cut her off, clicking to Hayes's stats. Profit down 45%, clients bolting. "You're sinking. Outdated plans. Slow shipping." Vertex's AI fixes that. "Look at this." Lauren flipped the projector, charts spiking. Vertex clients up 60% in efficiency. Hayes flatlining. "Your legacy was ripe for the taking." Dad slammed the table, red-faced. "You can't just—" "I did," I said, voice steel. "Resignation letters are in those packets. Sign them." Ethan lunged up, chair scraping. "You're insane! We built this!" I smirked, slow. "Grandpa built it. You coasted. I've got a $3.8 billion outfit that says I'm the future." A board member, gray suit, nervous, spoke up. "She's right. Numbers don't lie. We're bleeding." Another nodded, pen out. "Vertex's tech could save us." Ethan spun on them. "You're siding with her?" They shrugged. "Business is business." Mom stepped forward, voice cracking. "Clara, your own family. Why?" I met her eyes, unflinching. "You dismissed me." "Little app gig, right? I built something bigger while you laughed." Dad grabbed his letter, shaking. "We'll fight this. Lawyers, courts." "With what?" I shot back. "You're broke. Vertex propped your stock. Ford's gone without my platform." Lauren chimed in, dry. "Judge saw the docs yesterday. Ownership's locked." Ethan hurled his pen, snarling. "You'll pay." I stood calm. "You'll pay. Severance or shame. Pick." The board signed fast, papers rustling, siding with the wind. Dad stared at his letter, then scrawled his name. Defeated. Ethan ripped his, spitting, "Traitor!" Security loomed, 2 broad guys in black, and I nodded. "Escort them out." Mom sobbed, "Clara, please." But I turned away, pulse steady. They shuffled out, Ethan's curses fading down the hall. Lauren texted under the table. "Nailed it." I exhaled, sharp. The room mine now. They'd mocked my toys. I'd just flipped their whole damn game. Back in the penthouse that night, I stood at my windows, Denver's glow a victory lap below. My phone buzzed. Dad. "You're dead to us." I blocked it, smirking. Vertex wasn't just a win, it was proof. They'd laughed at my shadow, now it owned their light. Tomorrow, I'd shoot the real future of Hayes Manufacturing. Dropping Dad and Ethan felt like shedding a bad exposure. Dark, heavy, finally cleared. I was 28 now, standing atop an empire I'd forged in Denver's steel and glass heart, Hayes manufacturing mine to reshape. The Victorian estate faded to a memory, its snow-dusted pines no match for my penthouse perch, city lights a silent cheer below. I'd roll out to my balcony some nights, wind-biting, and just breathe. No family sneers, no legacy lectures, just me, my vision, and a company I'd yanked from their grip. Vertex Systems wasn't a fluke, it was a titan, and I'd doubled Hayes' stock in 3 months flat. The sting didn't blur, though. I'd catch my reflection in the office glass, blonde hair pulled tight, blue eyes colder now, and see the kid they'd dismissed, the one Grandpa raised to aim high. My phone pinged non-stop after that boardroom coup, industry blogs tagging me, Clara Hayes, the hidden billionaire. Strangers hailing Vertex's logistics revolution. One hit deep, a trucker named Sam, 25, who'd lost a fleet to old-school bosses. "Your win kept me fighting," he DM'd. I shot back, "Frame your own shot, Sam. You're enough." It wasn't just my lens now. Every move I made lit a spark for someone else. I'd gone from a punchline to a beacon, and damn, it felt good. Dad and Ethan? Word trickled in. Dad golfing at cut-rate courses, Ethan pitching parts from a strip mall office, their Tulsa dream torched. They'd dodged that $550,000 severance, too proud to cash my pity, and I'd heard they'd sold the estate's back acreage to scrape by. Texts came late. Mom, "We miss you, Clara. Let's talk." Ethan, "You owe us." I blocked them all. No flinch. Regret tugged once. Snow howling outside. But then I'd hear Ethan's app fantasy and Dad's tinkering, and it evaporated. They'd picked their angle. I'd shot mine. Lauren dropped by one morning, coffee in hand. "You're a legend. Hayes stock's up 110%. Industry's buzzing." I grinned, pulling stats. Vertex's platform had Hayes humming, rival fleets begging to license. "Ford's back," I said, dry. "Guess they like my toys now." She laughed. "Couldn't without your frame." Lauren was solid, no games, just a partner who saw the picture when I drew it. A client emailed that week, some startup founder, awed. "Saw your story, Clara. Family tanked me too. You're my push," I replied. "Build it quiet, they'll see." The web wasn't noise. It was a mirror, reflecting what I'd forged from their scrap. The real payoff hit at a trade show last month, packed hall, 200 seats, Denver's skyline glinting behind. I stood up front, projector blazing, and laid it out. Hayes' old flops, Vertex rise, the takeover. I didn't need their faith. I had mine, I said, voice steady. The crowd roared, hands loud as a shutter snap. After, a woman approached, 30s, quiet, scarred cheek. "I'm Liz," she said, clutching my card. "Family killed my shop. You lit my fire." I handed her a print, to Liz, unbreakable, and watched her go, spine straighter. My chest burned fierce and full. Every frame I shared was a middle finger to their doubt, and a hand up for someone else. So here I am, 28, richer in ways Dad never grasped, respected by a world that didn't need his name. I don't check on them, don't care to. I've got Vertex, my shot, a legacy that's mine alone. The best part? I proved I didn't need their table. I turned their blur into my sharpest focus. And every day, I wake up knowing I'm the picture they missed. That girl they mocked? She's the light now, and she's not dimming.